Hi, and welcome back to the spin selling session. Just a quick recap of whatever we've seen till now. What we saw was we wanted to do a simulation, and I suggested that you go ahead and choose the participants, choose some observers, make sure that they are following whatever has been discussed in the model till now. Let's look at one example of such a simulation. You try and brainwrite, you being the sales folks, you try and brainwrite and discover as many problems as possible. Now, how do you do this? Say 4 or 5 of you get together, that subgroup which we've defined, and you start doing the internet research on whoever your prospective client is. You try and understand what their challenges could be with the current business structure, the business model that they're following, the kind of industry that they are in. Which of these problems can you resolve, or can you at least hope to resolve over a period of time with whatever solutions you have got ready within the organization in today's date? That is one. The second is whatever problems could come up in their future. Now, I am presuming that because you are an organization which has reached a certain stage of maturity, you might also be in a position to do some kind of a SWOT analysis for the situation of your client. And once you've done that, you'll understand their problems much better. You'll understand their environment much better. You will probably also try and look at some of their competitors to try and understand what kind of market they exist in and what are the challenges which are coming to them from the environment. Once you have done this, look at implied problems. These will add to your kitty of opportunities, of course. So what exactly could be implied problems? Let's take a presumption that there is an organization which has hired recently, and you are aware of that because, of course, there would be a lot of hype around a large organization hiring a couple of engineers, maybe say 100, 200 engineers, and that's how it happens in India. Especially large enterprises, when they hire, mostly everybody in the industry is aware that they are hiring, and they have hired them for a particular project. You are aware that that particular project, also they've gone ahead and they've declared on their website saying that we got the largest SAP implementation in the last, say, 10 years in India, and they've gone ahead and hired resources for, say, SAP materials management. And what you are offering, what your organization basically offers, could be like Siemens or like many other organizations which are there, a bundled package of learning along with some kind of SAP ERP learning also. Now, even before you approach this organization, you should be aware materials management is something they might be looking at, but maybe not, because they've already had so many folks. But what you can also see is that their client, now you should be intelligent enough to see that their client also has got some requirement for say something else, say FICO. Okay, even though I'm taking a long shot, it's difficult to train people on financials if they have been working on materials management. But let's take that presumption just for our discussion right now. So what you could do is their implied problem and your basically your opportunity, your extended opportunity would be to go ahead and pitch for some kind of cross training that could happen. That is one thing. Having said this, zero in on one particular problem at any given point in time. If you go ahead and think, I will offer them some kind of cross training for FICO, and that is what I want to do, then you should be able to ensure that you have some kind of training suite available, you have some personal learning portal in place, you have got instructors who can train them on SAP FICO or things to that effect. Otherwise, financial management of SAP, like any other thing in SAP or any other technical training, is not something that you can just go and fib. You just can't go and say, yes, we will do this for you, right? And that brings me to my fourth bullet point on this slide, wherein I'm saying don't suggest a solution immediately. Just don't do that. Even if you have that solution ready and you've implemented it with the other organizations, if you immediately suggest a solution, there will be two things that will happen. One, the client will think this person came ready with a pre-thought of frame of mind, with his pre-constructed ideas. He's not necessarily keen on understanding what is my situation, and he's trying to sell me a product that he's confident about, his organization is confident about. You don't want to do that. Second thing, you will be blocking the avenues to get any kind of implied problems further discussed, because he's discussed a challenge with you, or rather say, you have gone ahead and identified the challenge, you've gone ahead and confirmed that challenge with the client, and then immediately you provided a solution. The client also might say, okay, fine, if he's ready to go ahead and just focus on this much of whatever it is that I am ready to offer to him, I'm okay with that, right? So that is one thing you need not do. Okay. Now let's look at the basic difference in product selling, and that could be large deals versus small sales. Now both could be products. Let me again take the same example that I was talking about earlier. I could sell you a needle and I could sell you SAP as a solution. Many organizations, and there are certain organizations who will call SAP SAP also, which is the wrong terminology, and I would love to go and sell SAP to somebody who calls it SAP, because his knowledge of the product would be absolutely zero. That would be the salesman's dream come true, but that usually doesn't happen. Okay. So let's look at two situations. One, you are selling a ERP or a learning solution. Even if you don't understand some of the examples that I am taking here, Leap 6 is one solution that I offer, which is a psychometric profile. It can be offered as a product. It can be also offered as a solution, wherein I might say that I'll do some psychometric profiling and then I'll take this further. I'll also do some workshops. I'll make sure that performance improves. So that could be offering a solution. And just a product could be saying that, okay, fine, here's a psychometric profile. I'll give you the report. I'll probably go ahead and, even counsel you on that, and that's about it. And then our relationship is done. What will I lose? And again, taking a example that you might be aware of, let's look at success factors. This organization, or let's look at Kenexa, or let's look at Oracle. Now these are three examples of some of the best possible learning management solutions presently available to us. Now, if any one of these solutions is to be sold to a client who is not necessarily aware about learning management, doesn't necessarily focus on learning management, then there will definitely be a longer selling cycle. The value proposition has to be built for such solutions. The person is aware that he is buying a off-shelf learning management system. How much can he customize? How much will it cater to his particular needs? Now, speaking from experience, some of these ERPs or software solutions coming in from larger enterprises are very, very difficult or very, very costly to customize, because they have gone ahead and created something which is extremely robust, and they've catered for a very, very wide industry, very, very different industry segments. So they've not necessarily kind of customized it for you and given it to you. And while you try and customize it, it could be a greater challenge. So the value proposition, of course, will build over a period of time. I have been with organizations wherein large-scale implementations were obviously facing challenges, but then the clients were also losing patience with them, which is not correct. You always have to kind of be patient about such things. Okay, and because it will be a long-term value proposition, and because we have understood that this will go on for a while, it will be an ongoing relationship management kind of a situation. Now, relationship management is a field of study within corporate marketing, or say strategic marketing, and I might not be able to touch upon it much within this session, though I'll try my best to do that. It is something which is the base for ERPs, enterprise resource planning solutions, are basically based on relationship management thought process of, say, strategic marketing. Okay. Now, one, I'm trying to sell you a needle, the other I'm trying to sell you a ERP. Can I expect you to take the same time to make a decision? Obviously not. Even though you might be the most informed client in the world, you would definitely want to take some time, because such things are big ticket kind of decisions, and you wouldn't want to do it in a hurry. Okay. Having said this, let's look at the spin model a little more closely. And what I'm picking up over here is from the spin selling book, which I've referred to on Google Books. It's freely available for anybody to refer. I also recommend this book on my website amongst my recommended reads, which is there on my website and on my blog. Okay, so now to look at this model, it's extremely simple when you look at it and very logical. So firstly, you need to identify, then clarify the need further and extend the need further if possible. So let's look at an example over here, and probably similar to what we were doing earlier. Now you've gone to an organization who has got the, you've gone ahead and seen on the internet, and you realize that recently they have got a very large implementation project from one of their American clients, and what they're implementing is, say, maybe some particular modules of, say, SAP as an example. And what you're trying to sell to them is not SAP, but a learning solution for SAP for some of the other modules. And what you see is that they've just recently hired about 500 employees, and that's come out in their, in their press releases or whatever it is, that they've hired 500 senior engineers or solution architects for SAP's, say, materials management for one of their modules of SAP. Now, what you would want to understand is, if I have a training solution for, say, materials management, then probably that is something what these folks do not require at this point. What can I cross-sell? What can I upsell? Maybe they are looking at providing other services within the SAP framework to that particular client. Let's say they are planning to do some FICO, they are planning to do some HR, maybe they are planning to do some other things. So how can I pitch in over there? Or is there an opportunity to pitch in for a different solution altogether? SAP, they already had the competence from the market. Let's say they also want to, for the same client, they also want to do Oracle HRMS or a Oracle PeopleSoft kind of implementation. Can you offer to go ahead and train their SAP materials management folks on this particular competence? Maybe, maybe not, so long shot. But if that need is there, the payoff should be within your mind also, should be in your mind also, should not be only in their mind. That is what the ICE model recommends. So you identified, you've clarified something, you've gone ahead and extended that. So let's say, let's look at another example. Look at the bottom leftmost, the block kind of a thing that I have over there. It says faster LMS, and then there's a question mark, and then it says lean. So that is the first need that is identified by you once you meet the client in a, say, face-to-face meeting. The client says, I need a faster LMS. It needs to be very lean. And those are the only things that you get from him. So what you could be thinking is, why does he need a faster LMS? Learning, it can be done very, very fast also. It can be done in various manners. But it does not necessarily depend on the comfort of the facilitator or the trainer. It depends on what is it that the learners are used to. Are they used to, learning at a gradual pace, or are they used to learning at a very fast pace? So let's say you are not very clear. So first thing is, you identified something, but clarity is not there. To further clarify, you get into some kind of discussion wherein you can ensure that both of you are on the same page. So you again clarify. So you ask them, is it speed of execution that you're looking at? And the first thing they'll say, okay, fine, yes, we are looking at speed of execution. And that is where the discussion could stop. You could say, wow, great, they want a faster LMS. It should be lean. There should be speed of execution for trainings, so that probably, they can all go and have beer in the evening, finish all their trainings fast. But if you stop the discussion there, you will not achieve much. So you need to extend that model further, and that is where the E comes in. So you tell them, okay, fine. So if you do faster trainings, maybe you will have more time for operations. If you do faster trainings, then you could also suggest some additional payoffs to them. And once you suggest those additional payoffs, then they will say, yes, the value proposition that this gentleman is coming up with, he's putting himself in our shoes, he's thinking like us, he's understood our business model, he's understood our challenges, and he's going ahead and catering to our requirement in that manner. So that is a big ticket sale. Okay, let's look at few other examples. Now I'll just kind of take you through this particular mind map before I go ahead. So of course, spin selling, that is the user need. There is gratification and there is learning that is happening. How is that happening? Because you are asking them problem questions, and then there is a need payoff which is happening. Then from these problem questions itself, you come up to the implication questions. So you looked at S, which is the situation, then you looked at problems, which is the P, and then now you come at implication questions, the I of the spin basically. Now the implication questions is, what should you fix and to what extent can you fix this? Further implied, what all challenges can happen if this thing is not fixed? Again, just taking an example directly from that book, a very simple example. He says that a king went into battle and one of his horseshoes lost a nail. And he said, no, let's not bother about this horseshoe's nail. Let's still go ahead and let's still fight the enemy. So one of his, a very able, let's say one of his very able ministers went up to him and told him that, sire, what you need to realize is that for the want of the nail, the horse will lose its shoe. For the want of the shoe, you will probably end up losing the horse. And because you'll end up losing the horse, we might even end up losing the battle. Now here's a very fancy way of saying that a stitching time saves nine. Yeah? Okay. So that's what they've done. But the point is, you are implying this to the client and you're telling him, if you do not deploy this particular solution right now, there could be challenges in the future. Right? And we'll take a little break over here and we'll come back to the session.